Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hunter. Welcome back to the Baseball Head 2. Hope you like this video, hit that subscribe button. So the worst team in Major League Baseball is looking for a manager, they're looking for players, they're looking for a general manager. I don't know if they're looking for that, but they are looking for a lot. They are looking for a boatload to hopefully not lose 120 games again next year. They have a possibility of being worse than they were this past year, as they broke the all-time record, modern record, for most losses in a regular season with 121, which broke the Mets' all-time loss number for a season. I would mention, the Mets still have the worst winning percentage of that season, and the White Sox were able to sort of, not have that worst record, but they have the most losses. They have Garrett Crochet. They're probably going to trade him. They have Luis Robert Jr. They're probably going to trade him. I stay away from either one of them. I would not pick up either one of those guys. I was thinking about this, comparing them to the 62 Mets. The 62 Mets had two future Hall of Famers playing for them, and one very legendary name around New York. Obviously, Richie Ashburn was the Hall of Fame with the Phillies for all those years. And he played the last year with the Mets. He was the Mets' best player that year. And, of course, the legendary Gil Hodges of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And, of course, he became the first Met to ever hit a home run. In Mets history, he's also the Mets manager of the 69 Mets. So he's a very famous and very important name in New York over the last over the last 50 years, 55 years. Really 60 years, I guess, in New York. But the White Sox are looking for a manager. And the names popped up. This is from Halo Hangout. Former Angels manager among the favorites to take over MLB's worst team. I see some of the names they're putting in here. The White Sox are technically a big league team, despite how they looked during the 2024 season. And big league teams do need managers. Former Angels manager Phil Nevin is on the short list of candidates to replace interim manager Grady Sizemore. Sizemore took over for Pedro Grifol in early August. A couple of things. The White Sox have completely collapsed as an organization. Literally. In 2021, they won 93 games with 100-year-old Tony La Russa running that team. And they were in the postseason. They won the division in the Central. They were a really good team. The media didn't like him. The media basically pushed him out. He did have on the side health issues. He was 74, 75 years old, and they kind of pushed him out. And they were able to push in this Pedro Grifol, who was a diversity hire in this situation. He was a disaster. Now that second year in 2022. The White Sox won 81 games. Last year, with Grifo as the manager, after hiring him in the offseason, he took the team that won 81 games, won 93 games the year before, and won 61 games. And took them to a league worst 41 wins this year and 121. He was primarily the manager most of the season. So he was a disaster as a manager, just to give you an idea of how the White Sox have fallen. A former Angels manager, again, Phil Nevin is on the short list of candidates to replace interim manager Grady Sizemore. Sizemore took over for Pedro Grifol in early August. Nevin knows some of the coaches well on the south side of Chicago, as he worked with three of them during his time as the Angels manager. This is subject to change, of course, as the White Sox can certainly have not finalized one thing concerning the roster, coaching staff, or front office heading into the 2025 season. So as their staff is currently constructed, Nevin was once worked with Chicago's hitting coach, assistant pitching coach, and catching coach while with the Angels. Getting all hell out of there. They did a lot of the job. Like Shohei Ohtani, Nevin, Marcus Thames, Matt Weiss, and Drew Butera all left the Angels after the miserable 23 season. Some were fired, others left on their own accord. Thams, Wise, and Patero picked up with the White Sox this offseason are among the few coaches who were not fired. The White Sox let Griffo, bench coach Charlie Montoyo, their base coach Eddie Rodriguez, and assistant hitting coach Mike Tosar go all at the same time. Nevin helped bring on Marcus Thames as the Angels hitting coach before the 23 season as they coached together for 4 years with the Yankees. Nevins and Thames are close friends, and Thames could help talk up Nevin for the White Sox managerial role, as Nevins did for Thames for the Angels hitting coach gig. Matt Wise predated Nevin on the Angels coaching staff as he had been working with the big league team since 2020, replacing the disgraced Mickey Callaway. Do you remember Mickey Callaway? He was texting all these women, let's go out, I think you're hot. And as the game was going on, I messed up. Oh, geez, Mickey, what are you doing? I messed up the lineup. I just give him out. Bring it out there. Hey, Mickey, you're out of here. Wise was the Major League bullpen coach for one season. Wise eventually had the interim tag removed, becoming the full-time pitching coach. Wise had spent close to 20 seasons in the Angels organization. Drew Patero spent 2 years as the Angels bullpen coach, helping oversee catching development and a variety of other tasks for the organization. He's a former player. He played with then coached Mike Dace since he retired in 2022. Well, the White Sox wanted to assemble 4 coaches from the 23 Angels who finished the season 73 and 89, even though Tiny led the league in Baseball Reference WAR. That remains to be seen. Nevin took Joe Mann's managerial role, despite Mann had given himself a slump-busting mohawk or whatever, and went 119, 149. I would mention, Angels was 73 and 89. That is 42 games better. That's 42 games better than the White Sox this year. But all kidding aside, you got to bring in the right guy. You got to bring in a guy that's willing to lose over the next 2 or 3 years, because they are not going to be spending money this offseason. You're going to have to get somebody that's a young manager. You can't be bringing a guy, say, like Buck Showalter, who's getting ready, who's out the pasture. Imagine putting Dusty Baker in there. Dusty wouldn't finish the year. They wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that either. That would be a terrible thing for him, for his ability to get into the Hall of Fame. But anyway, you're going to hear about Skip Schumacher, although he'll probably go somewhere else. Again, don't take this job. This is the one job, folks, that you're going to lose for quite a few years. It's going to be bad for a few years, especially next year. I don't know how many games they're going to win next year. But I do know that they lost a lot of one-run games. Teams that lose this many times, they usually lose a lot of games late, and it's because they don't have a good bullpen. So, and I know that they didn't have too many comeback wins this year. Once they didn't have a lead after the 8th inning, they lost. They didn't have a lead in the 8th inning, they lost, and that wasn't too many times. But let the buyer beware. Any manager that's been a manager in the past, anybody, if you're with the Marlins and just Skip Schumacher, why would you go to a team worse than the Marlins? And right now, the White Sox are the worst. And here's the thing about the White Sox: nobody cares about them in Chicago. It's not the Cubs. There would be such a clamor for the Cubs to be good. Nobody's going to care if you're good. Nobody cares in that town. That town is basically a college town, the way they treat the Cubs, and they just don't care about the White Sox. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not like New York, where half the town loves the Mets and the other half of the town loves the Yankees. In that town, you're probably 65-35. 65 Cubs, 35 White Sox. Nobody brought up the fact that the White Sox hadn't won in almost 100 years as well. When they won in 2005. All everybody talks about is the Cubs' mediocrity and being a bad organization from 1908 till 2016. People forget that the White Sox won in 2005. They had one of the most unmemorable teams in history of baseball, winning the World Series after breaking a long, long streak. People remember the Cubs. They don't remember the White Sox, even in their own town. So if you're going to go there as managers, you're going to have to have a very thick skin and really just play baseball, and that's it. I don't know how any manager could handle that kind of losing. But A job's a job, right? A job is a job. But Skip Schumacher should get a good job. I think that I would think that possibly the Mariners job would be an interesting job for him. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, please subscribe to Baseball Hut 2, and I'll see you later.